Someday when I make it, I'm gonna hire a guy to hit me with a blow dart right after every show.
So that's your dream. That's your dream. If you can make enough money, that's your first hire.
Just right in the neck every single show. And of course, I won't know when it's coming. Otherwise, I'll be all tense and looking for
You
him.
don't want to be, yeah.
I've been the guy on OfferUp who's put something up, and then the guy sends me something too low, and I'm like, I'll pay you the same money to break this over your head. How fucking dare you? This is a laptop.
We were trying to sell when my girlfriend and I moved in together by accident at the start of the pandemic. When we moved in, she had a beautiful cabinet, and she's like, there's no room for this. We have to sell it. I'm like, okay, what is it worth? And she's like, well, like, it like costs this much, but I guess you could put it up for like $200. And I was like, okay, fine, put it up for 200. And someone was like, would you take 30?
I'll burn this thing down for 30.
So do you know what I wrote back? I said, I will give it to Goodwill before I'll give it to you for $30.
Yes, you can't help but get weird. OfferUp gets me petty. I get angry. I'm too prideful.
Rage. Before we keep going, I want to talk about the tea. So for those that are steeping with us at home, because our listeners steep at home with us,
okay.
I love that you looked right down the barrel when I said that.
I didn't even know. I guess I knew we were recording, but I was like, maybe we're testing. Maybe
listen,
we're rolling right through it.
We can edit whatever you want if you don't like it.
I don't want my OfferUp stories online.
Oh, we're putting all your OfferUp. So this is I didn't tell you, the podcast is OfferUp themed.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know. But for those steeping at home, we're drinking Bird and Blend Belle's Breakfast, which is a black tea. It steeps at 212, obviously Fahrenheit, because if you did that Celsius, we'd have problems. 212 Fahrenheit for about 3 minutes. That's kind of where you want to be for this one. What do you think? You're not a big tea drinker. Where are you at with it?
Not a huge tea drinker, but really, I'm Palestinian, and we're a big tea culture.
I was going to ask, is it big tea culture? I don't know.
Huge tea culture.
Okay.
Every meal is followed by some tea.
Oh, lovely.
Little. You ever see a little Turkish tea?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's the flavors, and so it's like I'm not a huge tea drinker, but as I kind of breathe this thing in, and it does remind me of a lot of uncomfortable dinners I had with uncles and stuff growing up, and just weird
uncomfortable dinners.
Yeah, just stiff. Like it's interesting. Maybe your listeners who have relatives who live abroad or somewhere else in a much different culture, can relate. But there are these sort of encounters you have. It's very uncomfortable because you're just such a I barely speak the language. I'm a million miles away from home, and I'm trying to sort of, navigate through this culture or whatever. And it can be a little uncomfortable at times, and but a delicious tea. Let me just say this.
I love
delicious tea.
It reminds me of some of the worst moments of my life. Great tea. It's a great... I love it.
I can hear the shelling of the Israelis right now.
Oh, my Lord. We are going to offend so many people within 5 minutes of this podcast.
That's the name of this game, baby.
This is a question, not to get really deep into politics, but here's a question that I wonder, okay, as a Palestinian.
Yeah.
Anytime, because I'm Jewish, but I'm not Israeli.
Yeah.
So anytime someone's like, what do you think of the Middle Eastern conflict? Anytime someone says that to me, I always respond with I am a proponent of Israel, but I am not supportive of the decisions the government is making.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Is that a stance that when you hear that, you go, fair enough, or you go, bullshit?
No, I think, listen, I think whatever your point of view is, and whatever your point of view is, especially if you're Jewish and in America, it's like everything is colored by so much, right? Your context, the way you collide with the universe, there's just so many things you can't really choose. It doesn't really. I feel nothing about that argument, or I feel nothing about that point of view.
Yeah.
I respect it. I don't really care. I'm jealous of you that you get 9. Like when somebody hears you're Jewish, there's 20 other things they can ask you about before they get to the Middle Eastern conflict. That's where I'm jealous.
That's true.
When I say I'm Palestinian, nobody goes, "Tell me about baklava." It's always like, so how about the Israel?
It's weird because I ask about baklava a lot.
You do. You're one of the few.
No, that is really interesting. That's so funny. I will say this, and we probably both know the person I'm about to mention, but like after seeing Rami, I didn't know about I've not researched this true, so I may sound like an idiot. The strawberries thing really was like shocking to me.
I don't know. I didn't see that. What's the strawberry thing?
Apparently, there's a huge demand for strawberries in the U.S. And so they've overtaken a lot of areas where Palestine was doing a lot of more interesting different things and different crops and different culture, and just like bulldoze them for strawberry fields.
Really?
Now this was in Rami. I don't know if it's true.
Yeah, could be. I'm sure it's true. I'm sure he's not going to mess up on that particular
I don't think he
issue.
would, especially because I thought the show was so good. I don't know if you watched it. But,
yeah, I caught the first season or two, but here's the thing, and I just can't. There's 2 seasons, I believe, right?
Yeah.
I can watch 1 season of any show, and
Yeah.
then I'm back to YouTube. I'm not much on TV.
You're a big YouTuber.
I love YouTube.
Interesting.
all day
What do you?
long.
Okay, so I'm not good at YouTube. I don't know what to do on there.
Yeah.
What the hell do I do?
You let it do you.
It's gonna take me to the far right, is what it's gonna do. If you let it go long enough, you just start watching like Matt Walsh videos, and you get Alex Jones.
Which I'll tell you what, I've been there before.
Oh my lord.
I've been I've been dragged to the corners of hell, but I always get out. Here's the thing. If you catch the right, you ride the right algorithm wave.
Yep.
You can be taken to some beautiful places and see some beautiful things that you never knew existed out there. For example, do you know what a First Amendment auditor is?
No.
Okay, a First Amendment auditor, one of my favorite YouTube wormholes that you can go down, is a guy who just goes to a public place and he turns on a camera and he just stands there. And his whole thing is because you're part of the First Amendment is you're allowed to film in a public place, and he audits whether the area is friendly to the First Amendment or not. And I know this sounds...
It sounds crazy. This is real.
This is 100% real.
Okay, because I would believe you.
It sounds terrible and boring, but let me tell you, the interactions that you see these First Amendment auditors have, it's just amazing. And that'll take you down. Now you're watching dash cam footage in Russia, and it's
I've watched dash cam footage in Russia.
Dash cam footage in Russia is one of my favorite TV shows. If True TV doesn't pick up dash cam footage in Russia,
How does it not?
it's such a good time.
My favorite thing is when you're watching, you never know what's going to happen. But my favorite things in that genre of dash cam footage is when you see someone at a stop sign or a street light, and then someone just runs over, throws themselves at the car, and falls to the ground.
Yeah.
And then the person just points to the dash cam, and then they're like, "Oh."
You got to respect the hustle when you see a hustle at the end of the day.
I'm
but
into it.
You got to get a dash cam too. Listen, if there's anything anybody can take from this podcast,
Get a
aside
dash
from
cam.
how delicious his tea is,
Yeah,
get
yeah.
a dash cam.
Do you have a dash cam?
I do have a dash cam.
You do?
Yeah,
okay.
I do.
All right.
I do.
Because I was about to say, I bought a dash cam. It wasn't very expensive. I bought a dash cam, haven't installed it.
It's so worth it. And it's like, I don't know, I got mine for like $40 or whatever on Amazon. We just, in LA especially.
How do you install? I don't know. I got to take it somewhere probably.
No, it should be just like isn't it just like a thing you stick? Mine is just like a thing you
I haven't
stick and it
taken it out of the
records.
box.
Oh, it's so easy. Oh, after the show, I'll help you install your dash cam.
I didn't want to tell you. So the reason I asked you to be on here is because I need help with my dash
the
cam.
dash cam.
And no, I will tell you this. So I regularly talk about how you have to do a lot of terrible shows in Los Angeles to get to some better ones.
Of course.
And I used to tell a buddy of mine who doesn't do comedy, he didn't get it. He goes, "They all must be fun." I go, they're not.
Yeah.
They're not at all.
No, not at all.
But I regularly think about the time that we met, which I believe was at the Black Box Theater show that Schertzer was throwing, putting on. I don't know what the right verb is for that.
I'm okay with all three of the things.
Lovely. And I literally have never had more fun.
That's the one in Malibu?
No, we did
that's-
one
yes,
in West LA.
Yeah, that one was really fun.
And I was just like, I was like, this dude's great. And after that, I became a fan. I was just like, you're great.
Comedy shows are very interesting, especially as it's like you have to do some really bad ones to do good ones, and then if you do enough good ones, you then start doing bad ones again because what happens is you just fall down to the bottom of a totem pole that's a little bit higher.
Yep.
So it's like I started out, doing bad shows, and then I got good shows, and then recently I started working at the Comedy Store. I was just telling you beforehand, and now I'm doing the worst spots in the best comedy club in the world, and then you're just constantly. I say the highs and lows, it all starts to even out a little bit, right? The highs and the lows are less far apart.
Sure.
But you still experience them. You're still going up and down. There's never not an up and down.
Do you know Langston Kerman?
Yeah.
One of my favorite things I ever heard was do you remember the old Hollywood Hotel shows. They were like
I
terrible.
miss him so much.
Yeah.
Such a good time in my life.
I mean, oh boy. I was doing one, and there was one audience member, and they were at the bar, and it was clear they were not there for the show. It was clear they were dealing with some other stuff in their life, and they were just at the bar. And Langston was headlining, and that's a really strong word because there was one audience member, but Langston is headlining, and he gets up on the mic and looks around, and he goes, no matter how far I get in my career, can't get away from these.
You really can't. You
Yeah, and I was like, and I laughed so hard because I was like, you can't, dude.
No, I did a show 2 nights ago. I closed a show in the belly room of the Comedy Store, and it was 2 people in the front, 2 people in the very back, and an empty crowd, and nothing in between.
What,
But those are the most fun, I find. Now I find that fun.
Interesting. One of my favorite shows I ever did was for 3 people in San Diego. I did 3 people in a back room in San Diego.
Kind of fun sometimes. Well,
it was good.
Because once you know you got the goods, once you know you're like, okay, I can do comedy. I actually know, and not only can I do comedy, but I regularly perform for lots of people. This is something new, at least, this is like, okay, this is kind of something interesting. Like, there was a long time where all you would do is 3 people.
Correct.
And you were like, this is the worst. I can't wait till there's more. There's always something kind of fun about 3 or 4 people.
Well, because here's the thing. When I was doing that show for those 3 people, I remember I had I just started talking to them a little bit, and I found out one of the guys is from Minneapolis. I have an entire 5 minutes based on Minneapolis. So I was like, cool, let me just get into that.
You get a chance to just really kind of go like, you know what? I'm throwing everything out the window of what I was going to do.
Yep.
And just going to let them tell me what I should do. And there's something kind of fun about that.
Yeah, I loved it. I do think that your point is well made, though, that it's like you'll always be the bottom of the totem pole, unless you're like Chappelle.
Yeah, in which case that's a hell that I can't even imagine. I know that seems crazy, but I look at a lot of my friends, I'm sure you have the same thing going on in your life where you're watching people who you're close with start to pop off.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm starting to see people get famous, and I'm starting to go, wow, what a horrible life that could be.
Yeah,
That's
well,
a terrible life.
Because the demands, it's funny because a lot of people see that and they go, oh man, like they have so much more access. And I go, yeah, there's also a lot more expectation around that.
Yeah, they're at the airport. People are staring at them, asking them for things. It's like, listen, if I'm at an airport, all I want to do is, eat a $19 bagel and just let all the cream cheese run in my beer. Like, I don't want anybody to talk to me or look at me.
I'm telling you, I could shower 6 times before going to the airport, and I feel at my lowest, dirtiest point when I'm in an airport.
And now people want to take pictures with you. It's like, I
deal with that every day. People are always like, hey, and I'm like, I'm not Jesse Eisenberg. And then they, leave me alone. No, I genuinely, like, I ran into an old, like a friend of a friend, but like I'd known this guy for a little while. And ran into him at the airport, and literally just afterward texted our mutual friend. I was like, oh God, I wish I hadn't run into the airport. He goes, why? I was like, it's an airport. I'm fucking wearing I was fucking wearing joggers and a oversized sweatshirt, and I just like, hey, I don't want to do that.
I do a 3-piece suit when I go to the airport.
That I should do that.
Yeah. I take it all, and it's all laced with metal, so I have to take every
every individual piece off.
It's all zippers.
What's the point if you can't do that?
Yeah, I agree.
I genuinely, even when I'm like dressed half decent in an airport, I still just like, I feel awful.
Well, there's no point to. I love hearing like boomers. Like I've heard like this boomer kind of take of like, when we were young, people would dress up to go to the airport, and it's like, why? How could you? Like, you have
like suits dress up.
Yeah, well, there was no 9/11, so none of them had to. There was no security for anybody to walk through. You didn't have to take anything off. Now it's like, I'm literally, when I go to the airport, I will go like, because I'm at a place in my career where all my flights are at 5 a.m.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to bed in something, and I'm waking up and I'm walking out the door in exactly what I'm wearing right now. Yeah, so I either need to move to the West Side or I need to change my careers.
Yeah.
One of the 2 things is going to happen.
So every time I tell a comic I live on the West Side, they're like, why?
Oh, I love it out here. I would love to live out here.
So come out here.
Listen, once
I would say the water's warm, but the Pacific's freezing.
It's freezing, yeah. And that's the least interesting part to me about this place. It
sure.
really is.
Yeah.
Once a couple of these deals go through, I get my own.
Oh, you got deals.
Yeah, my own energy drink company.
Yeah. Is it called Badawi Wowie? Is that what it's called?
It's good. You know what? That wasn't going to be the name, but I like Badawi Wowie.
I'm into it.
First tahini and tomato based energy drink ever. It's
I
gonna be
love
huge
tahini
in Turkey.
I love tahini.
Teeny's so good.
It's amazing.
Oh yeah.
Why is that not in more things or like available in more places? Drizzle it on everything.
I gotta say, I'm watching it kind of make its.
It's coming in.
It's coming in a little bit, but I'm sure at some point it'll be taken out by some sort of a gluten allergy.
Big tahini.
Big tahini. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm a big tahini fan. Love it with everything.
I love a lot of that stuff. I feel like it's hit or miss when you go to a place like, is this place gonna have the goods or not?
Oh yeah, it is very hit or miss. I mean, for me, I'm particular, especially. Like
you probably have your places.
I have my place. There's a handful of places, and then there's places that I'll go in and I'll in LA, a lot of places are a lot of Middle Eastern places are Armenian run.
Yes,
we don't jive well in terms of our culinary styles.
Oh yeah.
So sometimes I'll kick tires a little bit to see who owns the place.
Oh my Lord. It is funny when because I was having this conversation. I might have been with Elliot, but I was having this conversation earlier where they were like, "Yeah, how'd you meet Ramsey?" Like, I met him at that show, and they're like, "And what do you know?" I was like, "I mean, I don't know how his background. I don't know how he got here. I just like him." That was enough for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the feeling is mutual, and I like being here. And yeah, that was a fun show. Was that the one was that your show at the West Side? No. That was.
I used to have a show at West Side.
That was no. We're talking about.
I brought you onto that because I was just like, this guy's a riot.
Yeah.
But as I said, when I said off mic, I never get to see you anymore because you're on the road all the time.
Yeah.
And not to bring it back to food again, but when you're on the road a lot, how are you not? I think if I were on the road, I'd be 1,000 pounds.
Oh, I'm getting there. I've at least put on like 20 pounds.
Dude, you still look good to me. I'm very surprised to hear that.
I hold it well. Like I'm one of these guys. I hold weight well. Like just. Allah has blessed me with this ability to like every pound in me kind of distributes a little evenly.
It distributes evenly?
It's pretty good.
Wow, you got to teach me how to do that.
Listen, there's not a lot about my body I love.
Okay.
This is one thing I'm like, you know what? You made me 5'5", but you gave me this. We're even.
Yeah. You know what? He giveth, he taketh away.
Exactly.
That is so funny. I feel like the same 4 places. I'm just like, if I'm starting to eat more, I'm like, we're all gonna know.
Yeah. Where do you see it first?
Oh, for me, where do I see it? In my face.
Your face.
But obviously, it's like it's in my love handles. It'll go right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see it in my face pretty easily.
The road is brutal too because so many places. You kind of. There's a when you live in a place like LA, New York, Chicago, Minneapolis, wherever, like these major cities, everybody kind of makes fun of like Applebees and whatever. But then you go out on the road and it's like most of it is Applebees.
It's just a lot of Applebees.
It's just Applebees. It's the only thing that's open till this late. Or clubs, comedy clubs have this food that is just toxic and god awful, and
it's fried. Everything is fried.
Everything is once I watched Bar Rescue and I started going to comedy clubs, I started seeing all the Bar Rescue, like they're buying crap that freezes well and does whatever, and they can deep fry it. And there's most comedy clubs I've been to only have a toaster oven in the back. They don't even have like a full oven. They're just so you're eating so much crap that it's just impossible to not put the weight on. I know some people who really make a lifestyle choice they're getting out on the road and they're like, I only grocery shop and I'm only doing this and I'm doing that. And these people,
kidding me?
They're psychopaths. I can't handle these people.
I don't understand because after doing a night of shows, it's weird. I don't know how to explain this, but I feel like you might understand this. Yeah. After doing a night of shows, I have adrenaline from the shows, but I am exhausted.
Yeah.
So I am like amped a little bit, but not amped enough to prepare a meal.
Absolutely not. And I actually need to eat. For me, I need to, if it's great shows, I just did 2 shows, sold out, everything is great. I need to actually put myself down, right? So like I need to I'll unhinge my jaw and swallow like just 9 pounds of food.
Oh, great.
Just to go to sleep.
That puts you to sleep?
Oh, just to go to sleep. Because otherwise I'm gonna try to do drugs or I just need to go down and be tranquilized. In fact, if I could, someday when I make it, I'm gonna hire a guy to hit me with a blow dart right after every show.
So that's your dream. That's your dream. If you can make enough money, that's your first hire.
Just right in the neck every single show. And of course I won't know when it's coming. Otherwise I'll be all tense and looking for it.
You don't want to be, yeah. I regularly have this conversation, which is if you like somehow became super successful, fell into all the money in the world, what are the people you would like hire into your life first? And one of the things I always say is a driver, and my friends are like, why? You don't like driving? I'm like, no, I love napping. And if I have a driver, I'm gonna nap in that back seat all day long.
A driver hanging around waiting for you all day?
I just want to nap. I just love napping, and that is a good way to be productive during a nap.
Interesting. What's my first move? I mean, Blow Dork guy for sure.
Well, Blow Dork Guy is the top tier.
He's top
That's number
tier,
one.
no
Yeah,
question about it. Number 2, I'm gonna hire a guy for my Airbnb properties because that's immediately where I'm going. I'm pivoting out of comedy as quickly as possible. As soon as I get a chance to become a slumlord, it's on.
Mm.
It
And I
is
gotta
on.
tell you, from the minute I met you, I thought Slumlord.
Slumlord energy.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guaranteed.
I just want it so badly to just how great. I would just love nothing more than to own 3 rental properties, and that's it.
So just 3.
Just 3. I don't want to be a guy who's. I don't want to. It's funny. I don't want much in life. I really don't.
Just 3 rental properties.
Just give me 3 places to go every day.
Yep. And now, just to be clear, in this fantasy,
Yeah.
are these really netting you a lot, or they're just netting you enough?
In my fantasy, I'm getting like $2,000 a month.
What is your fantasies are crazy? I love it in my fantasy. I mean, I guess mine isn't much better. I'm just sleeping in the back of a car, but like both of ours are not great right now.
Oh, well, let me tell you this. And so we talked about this a little bit off air, and I'll talk about it here.
Yeah.
We talked about this. I once got in trouble. I did this podcast with a comedian named Kurt Metzger.
Yep.
And we were joking, and we made some inappropriate jokes about the Armenian genocide, which in retrospect, as you go back to it, you go, yeah, okay, fine. Of course, people are going to be offended by that.
Yeah. I was going to say that topic in general, a bit of a hot button.
Hot button.
Yeah.
Here's where we got pinched, right? It was at the beginning of this algorithm stuff.
Yes.
It wasn't really like when you and I started comedy. How long have you been in comedy now? 10 years?
Long time.
Yeah.
Long time. So if you count just stand up, I think it's 7. If you go beyond that, it's about 12.
So completely old world that we used to live in, where it was like you make content, you put it up online, and kind of your people see it.
Yes.
So your people see it with the context of who you
putting
are.
stuff online.
I'm still uncomfortable with putting stuff.
I put
online.
everything online.
People
now.
go like, "You got to," and I'm like, "Yeah, I get it," but I still have this part of my brain that's like, but I was taught that this is not what you're supposed to do. You only put it up online when you have a masterpiece or you have a this. Or,
No.
it's not anymore, obviously. But somebody had put up this clip online where we were making these jokes or whatever, and the algorithm, because Kurt works with Kyle Dunnigan, and Kyle Dunnigan does these Kardashian videos. He does these videos where he's like, where he's deep fakes the Kardashians, and he has conversations between all, and then they're very popular online. But he's got a huge Armenian following. So the Armenian following was fed the Kurt Metzger video of us making fun. But they thought we were having a Zoom call or something. Like they didn't even know what we were doing. They didn't understand the context of the podcast.
Dear Lord.
I remember to this day seeing an article that was like four people discussing Armenian genocide on Zoom call. It was like not even, it was they had no context for what we were doing. Now, granted, I'm not here to defend the jokes we made or to do whatever.
No.
But at the very minimum, they didn't understand. I'm a Middle Eastern guy who comes from a pretty dark place, and so either way, thousands of people were rallying against me. There's a change.org petition out there with like 50,000 signatures to have me like killed or something. I don't even know what they want from it.
I gotta say, I hope that when you go to a comedy club that you have them list that as one of your credits. The change.org petition.
It's not about
dude. 50,000 people.
Yeah.
I would use that as a credit.
When was the last time you got 50,000 people to agree on anything?
No, it's been a millennium.
Yeah, it's me and Saddam Hussein and a couple of other people who got the honor.
Yeah, and people that seemingly want more grown-up sequels on Netflix.
Exactly.
That's all you get. Yeah.
So, anyways, the reason why I bring this up is because when that happened to me, I was deeply traumatized by it. Deeply.
Genuinely
traumatized by it because the human brain is not meant to see that.
No.
You're not meant to read I read so many people telling me that they wish my mother would die and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, look, I'm not meant to hear that from somebody. I'm only meant to hear that from my dad twice under his breath.
Sure, of course. Yeah.
Not like, so because of that, I've become very much like, I do not want that ever again. Give me $2,000 a month. Leave me alone, everybody.
So is that one of the reasons you don't post online? Because you're like, I don't want the backlash?
There is a part of me that is still like, I had to go to therapy over it. Like, everybody's got to go to therapy about a lot of things.
I was going to say, I'm in it. Yeah.
But that was a thing that I had to work out and still am working out on some level. Like, wow, like this is part of the job now is that there can be an angry mob of people. And I unfortunately happen to say things that piss people off. here's the thing. If you look at my comedy, none of it is actually offensive in any capacity.
Some of it's been so unfunny, I've been offended.
And that's fair.
Yeah, yeah,
I'll take that all day long.
For sure.
But I use words sometimes that people get all like, if I say something like, I have a bit where I say white supremacy, and I don't say anything else about it. The whole joke is of whatever you can, but that phrase gets people really fired up.
Sure.
Where they go, this guy thinks there's a white supremacy problem, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, I don't know, whatever. Either way, anytime I post something and it goes viral, I always feel like I'm in trouble. You feel happy?
Even if it's positively viral?
I feel in trouble. I'm like, I don't turn my phone off. I don't want to look at it.
I don't love looking at it, but there are occasionally some clips that go viral of mine where I'm like, this? That happens more often than not, where the clip I go, this one?
Yeah. That happens a lot.
I'm like, that?
No doubt.
That's not a good clip.
You still feel you feel good about it though. Sometimes when something goes viral, you go like, "Oh, that's cool." Like people are resonating.
No, I always am on edge because I'm just like, "Who's coming for me?"
Who's coming for me?
Yeah,
we're all Tony Soprano.
Yeah.
And all of our our
yeah,
premises.
you got Journey playing in the diner. I'm like, "Who's coming?
Who's coming?
Someone's coming. I don't know.
Who's coming to kill me over my Olive Garden take?"
I legitimately, I'm telling you, I had someone. I can't remember what clip it was. I had someone say, "I know where you live," and listed my cross streets.
Oh, yeah, they can do that. I found that out with the Armenian thing as well.
It's not good.
By the way, at that time when all the Armenians wanted my head, I needed a used car. And in Los Angeles, if you want to buy a used car, you got to go through Armenians.
Yeah, you got to pray that you find the one group that doesn't like YouTube.
I was literally going car shopping wearing like a Groucho Marx mustache and glasses. Like I was wearing scarves. I look like Johnny Depp at one place that I went to go check out cars.
The scarf look I think would be good for you. I like the scarves, but I do feel like you just told me that an article was written about it. Like I've not had
many articles,
right? So I've not offended people to that degree.
Many articles. I had this hilarious feud for a while because I was just trying to have fun with it at some point. So I had this hilarious feud with like Zartunk TV or whatever, like some like obscure, like, you know,
I don't know what that is. Yeah.
I was kind of having fun with it at one point where I was feuding with media outlets that you can't even imagine exist, you know, because they cater to such a specific audience.
And you fueled them.
I fueled them more. Oh yeah. They're like, he had the nerve to say this to me. I was fighting this lawyer who was saying he was going to sue me. Like it was crazy, man.
Oh my God.
It freaked me out though when the dust settled. It freaked me out so much that I don't know if I'm even still fully recovered from it.
Did you shut down the podcast?
No, I was a guest on the podcast. It wasn't even mine.
Oh, it wasn't even yours.
I was just there to say hi.
Did they hit you up, be like, I don't know how this happened, we're so sorry, or like?
They hit me up to say a lot of things, and
sorry wasn't one of them.
Sorry was not one of them. They were ready to wage war, unfortunately.
The guys from the podcast were mad at you?
No, they were mad at the people who were mad at them. Like,
oh.
And I was kind of just going, leave me out. I don't care. I'll apologize. But it is, you do get into this trap where you're like, they want you to apologize, but what do I apologize? No one's going to accept the apology. Nobody specifically is mad at it.
Unless you go out there and you're like, listen, I'm going to meet with groups 3 times a week. I'm going to,
now I have a full-time job.
Right. Which is like, no.
Yes.
There's no.
Yeah, there really isn't.
I mean, I don't want to get too political about all that, but it's kind of just like there are certain groups who, when they get upset, they don't want an apology.
They don't. No, they don't. Then that's what I learned, right? They don't really want an apology. To be honest with you, they're not really upset for the most part. I mean, there are people who were upset, and anybody who I genuinely upset with anything, I would sincerely apologize from the bottom of my heart.
Absolutely.
But there were people out there who just wanted blood, and that's fine.
Yeah, anytime someone's like that with me, I'm always just like, there are so many better people to go after.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't have much to offer you. I'm a nerd in my sweatpants. What do you want from me?
I can't do anything for me.
Yeah.
I'd love to do something for you.
yeah, exactly. Like, you want me to apologize? My mom's been asking me to do that for years. I don't have that in me for you now.
Yeah. But it's fine. We're survived. We're here.
I mean, we're still here.
Yeah.
Are you ready for the first segment?
Let's do it, man.
Let's do the first segment. It is called the Newly Friend Game. It's like the Newlywed Game, but we're friends. Though I do think that you'd probably be a good husband.
Okay, I would be a great husband.
I believe that. Absolutely.
Horrible boyfriend, great husband. That's sort of my energy.
Yeah, I think I'm a great boyfriend. I'm going to be a mediocre fiance and just a middle of the road husband. That's where I'm at.
Okay, I think that's a good place to be.
I'm fine with it. Not even concerned.
Yeah. And
by the way, if my girlfriend's name is Jess, if her mother's listening, just know I am going to try. I just don't think I'm going to succeed. So the way this segment works is I ask you a question, you write down your answer. I'm going to see if I can write down the same answer as you, and we'll flip our boards, and then we'll do the same question for me.
Okay.
My question for you, so you have been on the road a lot.
Yes.
Okay. So my question for you is going to be, I'll give you one of two options because you brought up Applebee's. I used to be a server at Applebee's.
Were you really?
I was a server at Applebee's for 2 years. So my question for you,
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, it was so hard. My question I want to ask you, but you can tell me if this is too specific. I want to ask you, what is your go-to order at Applebee's? Is that too specific?
No. Do you still got the like? Oh gosh.
I know a lot of the menu.
Okay. I actually. This is okay. I don't know the specific name, but we're gonna get.
If we get in the wheelhouse,
in the wheelhouse, I'm ready to go.
Okay, flip your board on 1, 2, 3. Flip it. Chicken tenders with a side of mashed potatoes is what Ramsey said.
Wild answer.
It doesn't come with mashed potatoes.
They have this deal at Applebee's, and I wish I didn't know the deal.
2 for $20?
It's some kind of a deal where it's like for an extra $1, we give you one of the sides. We give you an additional side.
Oh, so you get the chicken tenders with French fries, and then you get mashed potatoes.
I get mashed potatoes. I go, give me all the carbs.
Yeah,
give me all the carbs.
Let me starch it up in here.
I'm in San Antonio, and the first show wasn't great. Give me all the carbs.
I'm stunned, but also really respect that order.
Yeah. Chicken tenders. Now, here's my thing with chicken tenders. I brought up my Palestinian background earlier. I did not grow up eating traditional white people food.
Okay.
Chicken tenders and burgers. And so I'm still, I grew up eating like falafel and tahini and now as an adult, I love those things. But as a kid, I was always like, can I just have like macaroni and cheese?
You want the thing that you're not being given. You want the thing you can't have.
Can I have tater tots? Like, oh, those look
tater tots.
What's not to love about a tater tot? So as an adult, some of my problems now are that I don't know how to like order a salad. I'm like, I just wanted to dip something in ranch. Like I'm still stuck.
Love ranch.
I'm stuck. I'm in my 30s, and I'm like,
where were you? I thought you were a West Coaster. You born and raised West Coast?
I was born and raised in West Coast. My parents are both, first generation. Or I'm sorry, I'm first generation. Am I first generation?
I don't know.
They're immigrants.
I love that you asked me. I'm like, I think so.
Sometimes I don't know where does the generation start?
Let me check. I have a file on you. I can check it.
Can you check that?
I think you are. Yeah.
My parents both immigrated here in the 80s.
Okay. Yeah.
And I don't have any other family who lives here. It's just me, my brothers, and them.
How many brothers?
2 brothers.
Are they both this chicken tendery lifestyle like you?
Yeah. I mean, I think we're both in the chicken tendery life. I think we're both, because our parents were very like, we don't order takeout. We just make food because it's cheaper and it's, they're very immigrant mentality, which I respect a lot now.
Yes. But as a kid, you don't understand that struggle. You just go, give me some tenders.
You're hung up. I want to try the weird, gross stuff that white parents would never feed their kids anymore.
Now. Then I was eating, dude, when I was younger, when we were in middle school, I was eating that like pizza out of a plastic bag, man.
Oh, yeah. The pizza out of a plastic boat.
Yeah. It's great.
Nothing better than that boat.
Loved
weird cheese.
Yeah. I had written for you. I wrote chicken quesadilla wrap.
Interesting. Now, what about me was giving you chicken quesadilla wrap vibes?
So I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
So because I've had a lot of this menu. The chicken quesadilla wrap is something that can be scarfed down faster than most things on the menu, but is still actually pretty tasty.
Interesting. I'm happy that you gave me this tip because I will do this next time.
Yeah. Dude, I hated. That job was a nightmare because here's the thing: you're neither eating good nor are you in the neighborhood. So that whole idea is just nonsense.
You were sold a bill of goods.
The whole sentence is a lie. I was like, I didn't do anything that sentence says. You see Applebee's, they go eating good in the neighborhood. I go, I would love to be in a neighborhood where I can eat good. This seems great.
Yeah.
It's not.
Wow, kind of like America.
Yeah, well, that is. I never told people this. Applebee's is truly just a synonym for America.
It symbolized
yeah. It's metaphorical of what we face today.
Wow.
Do you know the menu well enough that if I said, "We'll do this question for me," can you do this?
I'm trying to remember because I have like three things I would order from there. I don't know if I know the menu well.
So let me make this a little easier for you, okay? For my question, and you're gonna write it down. Don't say it out loud. For my question, it is: what is my go-to appetizer order at a dining establishment like an Applebee's?
Okay.
So that's what your question's gonna be.
Appetizer.
What is my appetizer go-to? Flippy word on 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh my God,
Oh my God,
it.
we did it.
Okay, so I said nachos. He wrote nacho/nacho adjacent, whatever that could possibly be.
There's other versions of nacho. You know, this nacho-y things. You know.
Everywhere I go, I get nachos.
Okay.
I love nachos.
I'm so happy to have gotten this. I initially thought to myself, could it be a shrimp thing? I go, no, Josh doesn't seem like he would do like a seafood situation.
No way. No.
I thought mozzarella sticks, but I went, I don't know. He could be lactose intolerant.
I'm not, but that's a fair guess. A lot of Jews are. It's a fair guess.
You know?
So the reason I wrote down mozzarella sticks is because someone said to me the other day, because I brought up that mozzarella sticks are fun. It's fun. I like a mozzarella stick. It's fun.
I feel the same thing about nachos.
Yeah.
Fun. When you see nachos, everyone's having fun.
I love nachos. But someone goes, would you just eat 6 string cheeses? Yeah. And I was like, no, I guess not. Like what?
I would all day long still.
I was like, they were like in a row. Would you eat 6 string cheese? I was like, I don't know. I was like, why are you doing that? Like, why are you ruining mozzarella sticks?
It's true.
You're like doing that shit.
In fairness, and it's also mischaracterizing it's like sick. You're not deep frying them, right? Because once you deep fry a mozzarella stick, you're adding that like, now you have this.
It's different.
You've
Taste
kicked
different.
in your like, I don't know, the part of your brain that wants like carbs
fat.
and fat and
Yeah.
stuff. So it's like, get out of here with your judgmentalness. But I eat string cheese all day still.
Do you eat string cheese?
All day.
You have it in your fridge right now?
I look at it as I don't know if this is true, but I look at it as a healthy snack.
I don't think it's unhealthy.
Oh yeah.
It's protein and fat. What's
That's what
wrong
I'm
with
saying.
that? It's good.
I'm all about that. I've done the keto thing. I like the keto thing, to be honest with you.
Okay, we're gonna talk about that in a second because I have to talk about when you told me about your keto.
Oh, that's
situation.
right. I'm sure I told you about it. Yeah.
Wait, okay, but so I want you to finish your thought though. So you've done keto, you like keto, but you're not ketoing now.
I'm not ketoing now. I like the structure that it adds to my life.
Okay,
that's what I like about it. People don't like how restrictive it is, but to me, if I don't restrict I'm like an alcoholic sometimes with food, right?
Sure.
Where it's like, if I don't restrict it, I will just try to swallow everything whole.
Yep.
And I kind of like just only being able to eat 4 things, and I'll just do it all day long.
I've been called a golden retriever because even if I'm full to the point where like, I don't know if you've ever etten this much, where your stomach is so full it hurts.
Yeah. All day long.
Okay. I've done that. And then if someone puts food in front of me, I'll still nibble at it.
Were you fat growing up?
No, I wasn't like the thinnest, but I was not fat. No,
I was a chubby, fat little kid growing up.
Okay.
People used to make not people, my family, not just randoms. My parents, people in my family but culturally to them, they think it's funny. Like it's like, look, he's a chubby little guy. Like, hey, look how funny he is. Like,
but they didn't mean it. They weren't doing it mean spirited.
They weren't doing it mean spirited. I think it started to get a little mean spirited at one point.
And you were like, guys, look, can we wrap it up?
Yeah. I think we were hitting a point.
I'm gonna go on keto. Like, let's.
Yeah. So I developed like basically what I now look back at and realize are eating disorders when I was a kid, and then I joined wrestling, which is like a way to be like, you can have an eating disorder, but like be a man, like you could be athletic about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Now you have an excuse where you need to get to a certain weight, so now you just like fast.
You're thinking about weight all day long. It's as like a 14-year-old or whatever. So to this day, I'm still a little, I still have issues with food on some level. So
I think we all kind of do.
We all do. Yeah. We all do. That's where mine come from specifically.
Yeah.
So the keto thing I like because I like just being told that I can't eat 9 different food categories. I like being told you can only eat 3 things.
There's like here, you have meat and you got dairy
and butter.
Yeah,
figure it out.
Because I remember you were telling me you go hey, I think what you had said was there was pizza in the back and you're like, I can't eat any of that. I said, why? You're like, I'm in ketosis right now, and I was like, how do you know? You go, it's got a smell. And I was like, what's got a smell? You're like, there's a smell. I smell when I'm in ketosis because when you're getting into it, it doesn't smell really good. But once you're in it, it smells fine.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Hilarious.
Do you not remember this?
I do. I'm sure I didn't tell you the rest of the story. The rest of the story is that I was peeing on keto strips.
What are keto strips?
It's like a little strip that detects how many ketones are in your urine.
Oh, is that do you want a lot or you don't want a lot?
You want a lot.
Okay, got it.
The higher they are, but then there's also the other elements, which is you start to smell a certain way. You start to
not good.
It's not good.
Even
it's very metallic
when you're fully in ketosis.
Yeah, ketone, acetone. I don't know what the tone word means.
Sure,
but
I don't know what any of them meant.
And it smells.
Well, I feel like this is as good a time as any to go to the lightning round. Are you ready for it?
Let's do it.
So the lightning round, it's 5 questions. They're fast questions. They do not at all have to be fast answers, but they're just the 5 final questions we end every episode with.
All right, excited.
I like to use an index card. It makes me feel like a late night talk show.
Yeah, I like an index card too.
Yeah,
I
feels good.
that.
Question 1, what is a favorite ritual of yours? So mine is brewing tea. What would be one of yours?
I like drinking an energy drink first thing in the morning.
First, are we saying like you get out of bed, walk to the fridge, and you pop an energy drink?
I get out of bed. Actually, you know what? Thank you for the clarification request. I go to 7-Eleven. I like
you don't
getting
keep
up.
them in the you don't keep them in the house.
I understand the efficiency element that you're talking about, but
Uh-huh.
I love having something to do first thing in the morning and going.
You work at the Comedy Store, which has some late nights. What hour of the day are we waking up and just rolling over to 7-Eleven?
Lately, it's been real bad. It's been around noon because I get home at like 3:30, 4.
I think it's
sometimes.
a little justified to be waking up at noon if you're getting home at 3:30.
Yeah, exactly. And so getting up around noon, and I like rural. I don't like being home, which says a lot about, I think, maybe my living situation, maybe my personality.
Yeah.
So I love just going someplace.
Which is great.
Yeah.
I think it's great. Question 2, what is a running bit you have with a friend or partner that makes you laugh?
I do this running gag with my friend Chris Estrada, who I open for.
Yeah, lovely guy.
Chris, him and I love to talk about. We'd like to talk about being comedy entrepreneurs.
Jesus.
So we have a bit where he has his own comedy company that he has started called Naughty Comedy LLC.
Yeah.
And I have my comedy company, which is Rascal Humor Enterprises. And
it is not Enterprises.
Yes,
isn't it?
and we're very serious, and we love to talk very serious about our comedy endeavors.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about like it's stupid. This is not funny to anybody but Chris and I.
I love it.
So we'll have conversations, like we like having like we'll talk about I'll do a new joke or something, and he'll go, "That's really great, man. That had naughty comedy written all over
Oh
it."
my
like,
God.
We're thinking about acquiring some of those jokes.
Oh my Lord.
Things like that. It's so stupid. It's not funny to anybody.
No,
but
I love it. I love it. It is funny because I've known Chris for quite a while. I could see him being very genuine, even within the joke, being genuine, being like, I feel like that's really our brand.
Yes,
That's
yeah,
our
yeah.
brand.
Now here's a good run. Can I do here's a recurring gag I do for people. This is for folks in the service industry.
Please.
Sometimes people will tip me money, right? Sometimes they'll give me. I work at the Comedy Store, and they'll give me a $2 bill. Here's a great gag if somebody ever tips you, because people do that sometimes.
Well, because they want you to remember them,
and they think it's cool.
Mm.
Yeah, here's $2. Like, oh, here's my recurring gag is whenever they give me the $2 bill, I ask if they want change.
Oh my God.
That's my recurring gag.
Does anyone ever get offended?
I want them to be offended.
But
Give
they
me
don't.
more than $2.
Well,
I don't
sure.
care that Thomas Jefferson was on this thing.
Was Thomas Jefferson on the 2?
Yeah, he's on the 2.
You never really want to be on the 2.
You don't want to be on the 2.
No one's getting the 2.
Give me a 5.
Yeah, that's where the 5
With
should.
inflation, give me a 5. We don't care about
For
the
the
2.
inflation, they should make a 7.
Yeah, agreed. Thank you.
You heard it here first, everyone.
The
$7 bill.
bill.
Question 3, can you do an impression of one or both of your parents? And it doesn't have to be good. The worse, the better.
I unfortunately, I cannot. I'm trying to think. What would something my father say? My dad loves Saddam Hussein.
Okay, wow, that's quite an opener. Yeah.
Yeah, he loves Saddam Hussein because to my father,
Yeah.
Saddam was the first guy to ever get canceled in his world.
That's an interesting way to. I'm trying to think of
'Cause
that.
to him, he goes, Saddam was like a great guy.
Yeah.
And then they all turned on him, and they all decided that everything he was doing was bad, which was true.
Your dad sounds like a comic. There's a very comics way of viewing this.
He really does. So he's got a lot of like, Ramsey, he's a good. They say things on him, and he's good though. He's good to us. He's good to the Iraq. No, the Iraq is bad now. Look at the Iraq. It's bad now. My dad's like Seinfeld, but Arab.
I was about to say
Yeah.
he's an Arab Seinfeld. I mean, that is exactly what he sounds like. He's like,
yeah.
what's the deal?
Yeah,
You know,
he's
why
very-
are they doing this?
No impression of my father's complete without a Saddam Hussein reference. He loves the guy.
Listen, bless his heart. Your father's not.
Yeah.
I have no comments on Saddam.
Yeah.
Question 4: have you ever experienced imposter syndrome? And if so, is there a moment that sticks with you?
I feel like I experience imposter syndrome pretty much every single day.
Every day when you go to 7-Eleven, you're like, I don't belong here. I haven't earned this.
No, there's not every paycheck I get that I feel is more than I deserved. I did a commercial for Amazon or whatever.
Oh, I didn't see that. Congratulations.
It's it's fine. I look at it and I just immediately go like, I should just cash this and just give it to people. Like I remember for getting again, it's not a check. It's like, I don't know, $1,800 or whatever. Like,
Sure.
what a good honest person would get in a week or whatever, 2 weeks sometimes for
Yeah.
a job. And I remember just going like, I can't, like, how can I accept this money? By the way, taxes are not deducted. Like, once everything is said and done, I have netted $900.
I was gonna say, yeah, after taxes, it's like you could buy your energy drink, and that's kind of it. Then you gotta wait.
But I still every single time I do anything, I feel an immense amount of imposter syndrome. Are you not? Are you plagued by it as well?
All the time.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is, like, someone said to me recently that, and this is gonna sound negative, and it's not meant to, but what they said to me is, if you are viewing yourself as not deserving of the opportunities that you're getting, you're viewing those opportunities as a pinnacle when really you should be looking to such bigger horizons and seeing the things that you're getting in these moments as smaller stepping stones to be there.
Which is 100% true.
My final question for you, question 5, what is your favorite tea? And if not tea, what is your favorite comfort?
My favorite tea is Monster energy drink.
No, they do not make a tea.
They do make a tea.
My God.
It's called Rehab.
Oh,
and
God.
it is like a kind of a brisk iced tea sort of type of.
Is this
jam.
true? This is 100%
true. Well, of course, the real ones out there listening to the show are going to know exactly what I'm talking about.
I cannot believe this. Okay.
It's a delicious, delicious beverage, and it is actually how I start off a lot of my mornings. It's kind of a lemony iced tea kind of vibe,
Like brisk.
like brisk. Oh, absolutely. Except loaded with, way too
Taurine.
much caffeine and taurine and xanthex gum or whatever, xanthan gum.
Yeah, xanthan gum. How is that? Is this as caffeinated as a cup of coffee?
It's about 2 cups of coffee, 3 cups of coffee, if they're pouring them weak.
I can't even.
I
How
crush
do you?
4 a day.
How,
No problem.
That can't be true.
It's 1,000% true.
How much sleep do you get in a day?
I do about 6-7 hours. I mean, at this point, it doesn't affect me anymore, right?
That's really problematic.
I mean, people talk about like I talk to people who are like, if I drink a cup of tea at 4 p.m., I'm up all night. I have a Red Bull at 12 midnight, no problem. Sleep by 3.
I can't. I'm one of the other people that you just named.
I envy you people. I
You
think
don't
you
want
feel
to.
more. I think I could literally walk into a rake right now, and I don't know if I'd feel it.
I feel too much. I am told that I am sensitive enough for both of us in my relationship.
That's probably I get that. I get that vibe from you.
I cry all the time. I'm a big crier.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Big on the
The
cries.
opposite is the worst.
Yeah. So you cry also?
I do not cry. I'll cry every once in a while.
Okay.
And it's bad, and I feel ashamed, and it's.
Oh no, I love it.
Yeah, it's been a long time though. I mean, it's once a year for me, maybe.
I mean, you're in therapy. I went in therapy. Like, I don't cry in therapy ever, but I've said to him before. He's like, I would tell people like, don't be scared of your emotions, but I know you're not. And I was like, no.
He's like, Josh, you should be a little scared of your
Yeah.
emotions.
He's like, pull back a
Well,
hint.
just-
He's like,
just kinda-
maybe just like kind of just tighten it up a little bit.
Yeah.
there. And I was like, no, I'm gonna keep crying. But that's as good a time as any, man. Thank you so much for coming. I really, really loved having you on.
Had a great time. Thank you very much for having me, man.
That was Ramsey Badawi. You can follow him at RamsBad on Instagram and Twitter, and at RamDog with 3 G's on TikTok. Steep Conversations is produced and edited by Elliot G.B. Our associate editor is Martin Alvarez. Our theme song and additional music are by Oliver Hymack. Our cover art was done by Neil Fraser with photography by Matt Mazisco. Social media by Dia Villegas. Please write a review and rate our podcast on Apple Podcasts and wherever else you can. You can send any questions, comments, newly friend game suggestions, or tea suggestions to steepcombos@gmail.com or tweet us at steepconvos. I'm Josh Lanzette, and you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Josh Lanzette. We'll be back next week, so until then, happy steeping. Does your partner go, something's up? You smell different.
The person whom I was dating at the time never said anything to me, but I'm sure she was a very polite, wonderful young lady.
Did you ever just want to go, listen, I know that you know that something smells different here.
I think now I should probably link up with her and
Just
have
to
that
talk about
honest
your scent?
conversation.